So in this video, I'm gonna speak to you about the next level of relationships and the divine masculine and feminine. So if you haven't watched the videos on the first levels, go watch them first, because otherwise this won't make sense. Okay? This is the stuff I talk to my one-to-one clients about. I go deeper. And you will only understand this if you've watched the other stuff, right? So I'm not going to repeat the other stuff. Please go watch that. Okay, so I've talked before about the masculine and the feminine energies within us, and how in a relationship you need to have the polarity in order to create that, okay? The next elevation of this is when you no longer have to think, am I in my masculine? Am I in my feminine? You no longer have to feel into it. The aim of the game is to go so deep into your divine masculine and feminine that you actually become one with the universal divine masculine and feminine. So there is a universal masculine and feminine magnet. And when you connect to that, what happens is you have... let me explain it this way. The head is mainly masculine. So thoughts, actions, doing, seeing, hearing, feel, all that, not feeling, hearing, smelling, talking, right? It's all head. The heart is where the feminine is. The first center is where the feminine is. It's where creation happens. So when you think about it that way, we're not only heads walking around, are we? We're not only hearts walking around. We're actually connected in one body, right? So we're one. Our masculine and feminine is one. It's actually deeply connected. And the next elevation of this work is, how do you stay deeply connected so that you're not even aware that you are in your masculine or your feminine energy? You just ebb and flow into it with ease and grace, as the universe does. It's a bit like when you go in the ocean. You don't fight against the ocean, you move with it. When you ride a horse, have you ever tried riding a horse and kind of not moving with the horse? It's so clunky. But when you move with the horse, there's a flow to nature, right? And this is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about universal oneness. So we become the frequency in the collective of everyone. So there no longer becomes a thing about masculine and feminine. Because once you create coherence between your head and your heart, there becomes a deep flow that creates one. There's no actual separation between masculine and feminine energies. There's like a unity. So then what can happen is, in your relationship, it's no longer, well, I need to be 70% in my feminine and 30% in my masculine in my relationship. That doesn't, it dissolves. Because I know when to elevate my feminine in response to his masculine. He knows when to elevate his masculine in response to my feminine. I know when to elevate my masculine in response to his feminine. You see, it's an ebb and flow of nature. It doesn't make it that his feminine is wrong or my masculine is wrong. What it actually creates is this beautiful divine oneness, this flow of energy and frequency, where there doesn't need to be words. So for example, there's been moments in our marriage where he's gone deep in his feelings and really emotional. And I've been able to lead in those conversations and hold space. Does that mean that when he was emotional, he's a crybaby or he's a wuss or man up? No. It actually makes him more of a man to be able to expand in the vulnerability of his heart. And for me to be able to hold that in my divine masculine and create a container for him to flow Because what happens there is we actually become one. Our energies unite. Because as he flowed in his feminine, I was able to hold him in my masculine. And when he was complete, he was able to hold me. And it's like that the whole time, right? This is the next elevation of relationship. This is the next elevation of oneness, connected with yourself first, connected with the universe, and connected with your beloved. And it's so yummy because there's no words needed, there's no strategy needed. It's a knowingness. It's the same as you don't need to tell your head to stay on your body to connect with your heart. It knows what it's doing. Just like you don't need to tell the ocean to go in and out. You don't need to tell the horse how to ride and gallop. So for some of you, this conversation will go over your heads. Please go back to the other videos because it's important that you understand the fundamentals. It's a bit like, have you ever tried to learn something new? You know, and I was talking to my producer today about how when he first learned how to produce and content create, he had to learn the mechanics of how to film. Like, how do you use the camera? And then he had to learn the skill of how to feel where to go with the camera. The creativity part. Like, anybody can put a camera there and say, right, but incredible footage comes from the feeling that the cameraman wants to portray through the lens. That's the feminine part. So my producer had to learn how to tap into his feminine heart. He had to learn the head skills of the camera. And initially that's disconnected because you're learning. And then there comes a divine moment where you suddenly realize that actually I no longer need to learn the mechanics because I know them. It's who I am. I've created the neural pathway and I also have created the feeling. So I don't actually have to speak where I'm going or what I'm doing because I know where to go and what to do because I feel it. And that created the oneness between his head and his heart, which then produced next level content. You know the difference between an amateur's content because the filming is jaggedy and still. I kid you not, when I watch my producer create content, it's like watching a dance. He flows. His movements are like his oneness with the universe. He's super connected, head and heart coherence. He doesn't have to think about the mechanics of the camera. He knows exactly how to move it. He knows exactly which lens, lighting, where to go. He knows the timing of the subject because he's connected universally. He's created content for me at one of my events called Abundant You. I didn't even know he was filming. And he knew exactly when to film and he knew what I would say and when I would stop. He knew which camera, whether it was phone or camera, to film on. That's the next elevation. That's mastery. That's mastery of creation, not just with yourself, not just with your masculine and feminine, but also being able to shift in the universal masculine and feminine in response. And without needing to it being clunky. And that's the goal, guys. That's the key to this, actually. That's the key to freedom and peace. Because then your identity is not locked into anything anybody else does. You disentangle your identity to any entanglements that he needs to be like this in order for me to feel good. She needs to be like this in order for me to feel good. It's all entangled. When we disentangle the behaviors from our identity, we create space for freedom and peace. Nothing else can touch you. And in that freedom and peace, You see this as just behaviours without judgment. It just is. It just is. So whether he takes the bin out or whether he kisses you before he goes to bed, just is. And in your identity, your clean identity without entanglements, you can decide whether that's what you want or not. And it's beautiful. This is the depth of the work. I'm so grateful for those of you who have stayed this long and understand this depth. If you want to understand more, reach out to me. This is something I go deep on in my one-to-one clients, and I've started to move into in my mastermind. Is that something you're interested in? Reach out to me. Thank you for having this conversation. Thank you for going this deep with me. I appreciate you. God bless.